I've been recently asked by one of the subscribers of a channel what one should do if in the middle of the route the shock absorber of your Via Ferrata deploys during a fall. This is a very good question. What do you do to get out? It is an answer that depends a lot on your situation, on the circumstances. The odds of choosing the correct path to getting out of that situation are changing from moment to moment, from case to case. If you are close to the start of a Via Ferrata and you are confident you can go back on it, maybe you'll choose to do that. If you are close to the finish of that Via Ferrata and you are confident you can go through it and you've already crossed the more difficult segments, maybe you keep going. Or if you don't feel confident enough of somehow exiting of that Via Ferrata, then you might sit and wait for help to come. The best, fastest and easiest help is someone to bring a Via Ferrata set from another climber who completed the route and give it to you. And with that, you just keep going. If this cannot happen because maybe you don't have people around, then you either sit and wait, you either take the risk of going back or completing the route, or otherwise, if it happens that you have it in your backpack, you will do one of the following. You either, if you have an extra Via Ferrata set, use that to exit. Otherwise, something that overall is a cheap aiding device. And let's suppose my Via Ferrata deploys. So let's suppose my Via Ferrata set deployed. Good. Give me a moment. So let's suppose my Via Ferrata set deployed. Good. Let's consider this being a deployed Via Ferrata set. With this device that is straightforward, I will explain it to you in a moment, that is straightforward. Theoretically, the length of this dynamic rope will be less than the length of the Via Ferrata set once deployed. And what I'm doing is I will install this as my aiding system. I will connect this part of the system, and I will explain in a moment what it does. I will connect this to the belay loop, and this, now connected to the safety steel cable, acts as my safety lifeline. How will I progress? The idea here is this system, I will describe it in a moment to you, is my new shock absorber, but to make sure I'm not breaking the system of climbing a Via Ferrata by being connected in 2 points, in a point, at least one, any other moment, when I make the anchor transition, I will keep the Via Ferrata set connected, and then I will clip this above. I will demonstrate it in a moment. I will clip this above the bolt, and then I will move the Via Ferrata set. Now this, imagine that it is deployed. As I was saying, I expect the length of this, when it's completely deployed, to be longer than my made-at-home shock absorber. In case I fall, this shock absorber will deploy, but the Via Ferrata set that's deployed, and it is now static, will not present any risk because this overall, it is shorter than the overall length of the Via Ferrata set deployed. When I fall, I will explain it in a moment to you, this will catch me. So here it is how I'm protected in case of a secondary fall during my attempt to complete that route. Let me now present to you this system, this improvised lifeline. I have here a device from Kong. It's not that expensive. The idea of this device is to use it and create shock absorbers through dynamic rope used with this. And the way Kong says is, if you have it of 9 millimeters, then you should go all the way up. Then if it is 11 millimeters in diameter, you should only use 2. Mine is 9 something, but I'm only using 4 of them and not all 6 because I want this to deploy smoother, faster, easier. I'm not that interested in sturdy deployment. What interests me is this to eventually deploy up to the end. And of course, the moment I reach the end, the shock will exist, will be there, but less stress on the dynamic rope. Overall, me analyzing how to best build this for myself, I thought this is how I should do it. This is a very dangerous system you can create at home. It is why they say when you buy it that they cannot give you any specific details about it, because, and they cannot say this is a protective piece of equipment, because you are responsible on how you use it to make of it something that might protect you. How this works: you wrap through these holes here the dynamic rope. It has to be dynamic rope, not static, because being dynamic, it also stretches when you fall. So it provides more cushion, more shock absorption. Once you did that, I have a knot at the end where I'm supposed to slide in case I fall, and then I have a figure 8 knot here to connect to this carabiner made for Via Ferrata. This was the cheapest, it is why I bought it. When you climb, it makes it way easier to advance up on the vertical. To connect the Kong device to the belay loop, I use this carabiner, and here you have it. What's the thing with this device that now you see how it is made? Well, the idea is when you fall, so let's suppose we are falling and we are connected. So let's suppose I'm falling. You see, it is already almost stretched. The big advantage of having this as an aiding system with you is given by the ability to reuse it a couple of times. In case you fall, then you can bring it back into this initial position here, and is back there, ready to save you. The more you fall on this, the less effective it is. The rope itself can stretch up to, it depends on the rope, but let's say 5 or 7 times. So if you fall on this rope 3 or 4 times, it is getting already bad. So practically here, once you fall for the first time, you should know you can only reuse it for the next couple of times. Of course, once you fall, we speak about reusing this on the same route. The moment you complete the route, you replace the rope. Why? Because this rope, the moment you fall once, is no longer reliable. You can no longer trust it. You can reuse it while you are completing your climb because it is your only aiding system. So if you have to choose between nothing and something, you'll definitely choose this. Let me remind you, when you use this improvised shock absorber, you always stay connected with a deployed Via Ferrata set as well. Again, my presumption here when I built this is that the Via Ferrata set overall is, when it is deployed, is longer than this improvised shock absorber. Why this is important? Because when you fall, by the time this shock absorber, which is the Kong device, arrives to the end of a line here, you should still have some slack on the Via Ferrata set. If you don't, it means that eventually you'll fall into this deployed Via Ferrata set, which breaks your fall, and it might be too soon. If this is longer than the deployed Via Ferrata set, then it might be too soon, and you lose some cushioning there. You lose some ability to slide smoothly, to have your fall, shock of your fall absorbed by the remainder of a rope. Of course, you might say, yes, but it is the same as reaching the end of a line here, This is correct. It is perfectly correct. It is up to you to decide how you want this to happen. If this should be overall longer than the deployed Via Ferrata set, and to reach the end the moment the Via Ferrata set stretches to the maximum, is not about stretching. It is about reaching the whole length and stopping it, or making this a bit shorter, and when you reach the end, you reach the end on this rope. Why is it, in my opinion, good to make this line overall shorter than the deployed Via Ferrata set? Because the moment I reach the end, I give the rope opportunity to stretch. This is dynamic rope here. And the moment I reach the knot here with the Kong device, the rope itself will stretch for a bit. And this provides me enough cushion to then have a smoother break when I reach the end of a deployed Via Ferrata set. This is what I advise you to have with you when you are on a Via Ferrata as an aiding system. It might be the cheaper option out there compared to buying an extra Via Ferrata set, and overall, if properly used, will do the job.